Surprise, surprise, surprise. You can see it on my face. I'm super surprised that I woke up this morning and Trump was like, just kidding. The tariffs. Just kidding. You can't write this stuff, guys. Now, of course, I was expecting this. Of course, I didn't go 100 million X long with $100 billion and become a billionaire overnight because I wasn't 100% sure. But I'm not surprised that we've come to some sort of resolution here. However, I wouldn't count our chickens before they've hatched, my new favorite saying, because there are quite a few ominous things still out there that we need to cover, we need to be aware of, and we need to apply to our strategies. With that said, looking at Bitcoin's price action, we went to a low of 87,100, quite literally exactly the support zone to continue this uptrend. And you can see the candles actually closed on the line of support, wicking down to get rid of those leverage traders. Now let's do a little spin of the wheel and hope that the shorts are above the long. Let's go and come on. Yes, there we go, guys. We have the shorts $8.24 billion with the longs $6.1 billion. Literally only showing us now that the market is more skewed in the favor of betting, or at least thinking we're going to go lower. Is that a guarantee that we're going to go higher? Of course not. But I like to bet against the crowd. That's simple. That's the strategy. Part of the data I use is, what are people thinking? Is the majority of the sheep people thinking, okay, we're going to go lower and I'm going to go long, or I'm going to go short and bet the house that we're going to go lower? If the answer is yes, I'm going to take the opposite side of that bet. But what is the news? What's happened, all right? So Trump tweeted, or Truth Socialed once again, basically saying that the tariffs are cancelled. So according to No Limit Gains here, this is what potentially happens next. The current trade war is over. President Trump just lifted the February 1st tariffs. The tariffs were never the goal. They were the leverage. We knew this. It's bluffing. It's negotiation tactics. He just used them to unlock the real asset, which is Greenland. Here's exactly how he secures the island from here. The sovereign lease. He won't invade, he will rent. A 99-year lease on foreign policy and defense rights. We get strategic control, or US gets strategic control, but they keep the flag. The Commonwealth pivot. He offers Greenlanders the Puerto Rico deal. US citizenship, federal funding, US military protection. He doesn't need to conquer them if he buys their loyalty with a passport. The cash checkmate. Denmark can't refuse a lump sum that clears their national debt. Expect a multi-billion-dollar deal offer that makes no impossible. The next few days will be interesting and I'll keep you updated. This is, of course, no limit here. But what did Trump actually say himself? Well, based upon a very productive meeting I've had with the Secretary General of NATO, we have formed the framework for the future deal with respect to Greenland and, in fact, the entire Arctic region. This solution, if consumed or consummated, will be a great one for the United States and all nations, or NATO nations. Based upon this understanding, I will not be imposing the tariffs that were scheduled in effect on February 1st. Guys, the market didn't react in the same way the last tariffs happened, right? This was the reaction April, May 25. This was the reaction this time. Because people knew. They knew this time, I'm not gonna get panicked. I'm not gonna sell. This time isn't different. It's gonna be the same. It's posturing. And guess what? Yesterday, the Nasdaq up again 1.36%. The S&P 500 up 1%. So on the drops, dollar cost averaging opportunity, I'm buying the S&P 500, the Nasdaq, and all of that. We also see the US actively seeking a regime change in Cuba. So they're just literally, President Trump is just going after all of these countries trying to change things. I don't know what to think about this. It's kind of insane. But do you know what does know what to think? Do you know what does know how to think about this? Small caps. And we'll talk about this, why this is good in a second. But the Russell 2000 just hit a new all-time high of 2,700 for the first time in history. The Russell is up 9% the first 21 days of 2026, clearly showing a rotation of money into high-risk assets. Now, guys, the Russell is the 2,000 small cap stocks. And why is this important? Well, this is showing that there is liquidity, there is excitement, and there is money flowing. But it's not going in to crypto and Bitcoin yet. And this is a very good news, in my opinion. It shows that there is liquidity. One issue we have, though, is the crypto bill is likely delayed until late February or March as the Fed panel pivots to Trump housing push. We also have that insider whale we've been tracking here. 32 million, another 2 million, so 34, 35 million. So about 35 million in a loss. And it seems that he's actually closed out. Oh, no. The Solana position is coming up. The whale that everyone assumed knew what was happening was in, I think, like a $40 or $50 million loss yesterday, coming up a little bit to a $34 million loss. And it just goes to show that everyone is using the same data out there and they can be a little bit wrong, all right? But look at the leverage, 4.4x. Let's take a look over here. Look at the leverage, right? We can see that, like, if we were about a week ago, there was $2 billion of shorts and there was $16 billion worth of longs, right? And the amount of liquidations, even in the last 24 hours, where we haven't had that wild of a move, 600 million. So $500 million liquidated, because guess what? People aren't trading like this whale with an average of 4.4x, right? They're trading with probably an average of 50x, 20x, 100x. And that's how you get annihilated. All right, guys, not following a strategy, too much leverage, rinsing and repeating that until basically you convince yourself that you can't get ahead because there's too much manipulation, the price is too volatile, and then you leave and then you call crypto a scam and then you become part of general retail who lose money. That's not what we want to do. We want a strategy. We want to remove our emotion. We want to stick largely to spot with the majority of our investments. And if you're like me and you think that you can make a little bit extra cash flow by using leverage, you must stick to a strategy. And nobody has a long-term strategy that I've seen that's worked with wild leverage. Remember James Wynn, who had like an 80 or $100 million win? He lost it all because he was using 40x leverage. So maybe there are people out there that can use that high leverage and it works. I don't know. For me personally, maximum about 10, between 3x and 10x, but normally 3x. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.